So, my name is Claus. I'm with Rice, and I will talk a little bit about our activities here in Urban ICT Arena, what we have done and what we're doing now. I will give you some examples from different projects. So it's just a snapshot of what we're doing. But what I will try to do is to show you this, like a kind of holistic view of everything that's needed in a city, all the way from sensors, collecting sensors, to platforms, to cool services and visualization. And first, I think you should think about, to make all this work, or at least in my head, think about the city as a platform for data-driven innovation. That's where we are heading. So, and when I'm lost, sometimes I look at my phone. This is a platform. Think of the city as a platform. So why do we talk about smart cities? What's the interest? Well, one of the things is basically that you can automate analog processes and functions today. So they become more effective. The city can save money that can be used other places in the city where it's maybe needed more. Then also when you start to measure a lot of things, you get a better overview of what's happening. You get a better understanding of different systems, how different systems interact, and you can make better decisions based on that. What I think is very interesting is, and this is really data-driven innovation, that you will get to a point where data that's from one place where it has a value can actually be used in another place. Maybe you don't know that today. That will add some extra value, so you will get new types of services from new types of actors. And I think this is the most exciting part of what we're going to see. It'll always also bring new ways of involving the citizens. And I'll give you examples of all these. And almost above all this is within a few years from now with today's technology. So I'm not talking about autonomous driving or artificial intelligence or drones or anything. So this is something that can be done almost immediately. Now, when you talk about data-driven innovation, you need data, of course, and you need access to data. The thing is, and Anders Popp talked a little bit about that as well, you don't really get access to all the data that's out there because often it's locked into silos, and that can be like different departments in the city. And it could be inaccessible for practical reasons or technical reasons, or it could be something that a supplier to the city, that they measure something, but they own the data, they will not share it, and so on. So there are so many hinders today, but we need to release data in order to do this data-driven innovation. And that's one of the big challenges today, I think. So in the ideal world, we want to collect all data within the city. And it could be like static data from databases, or all the millions of sensors that we'll see in the future, collect them at one place and then make it available from the same place. So that everyone that's authorized to get access to some kind of data can easily access it. I don't say that anything should be available to anyone, but if you're authorized, it should be easy to access any data that you need to access for creating a service or anything. And when we start talking about that, breaking these vertical structures, transforming them into something more horizontal, you need to talk about platforms and interoperability and standards and so on. And this is really my favorite subject. And I am not going to talk about that now because it would bore the most of you to death. But I'll talk about something else. But this is really critical in order to make this automatic city, that this is well controlled. So I'll give you some examples of what we're doing. You heard about the sensor networks before. You need to have something that can collect all the sensor data. And there are different technologies out there, and they have their different advantages and disadvantages. And I don't know what is the best, but I think that they will coexist in the future. That some will be good for some applications, and other will be good for other applications. And it's not that important what you choose, really, I think. But we have installed a LoRa network within Urban ICT Arena. So you see here to the right, it's on Jan Steenbeck's toy, in the, northwestern corner. If you look up, you'll see the antenna there and a small base station. You can see in the upper right corner. That one is connected to one of these access points that Anders Boberg talked about. So it's connected to St. Erik Komp's switch and down on Stokop's fiber to the node or research room for Open ICT Arena. And there we put it on our own fiber up to Hudiksvall, where we have our IoT platform. And it's a high capacity, it's very secure, it's really overkill, but we do it because we can do it. And then we get access to the data in Hudiksvall through the internet. We also have installed an antenna in Kista Science Tower, and you see the photo there to the left. It's not connected yet, but will be soon. So we have coverage of the whole of Kista, really. And if you want to get access on LoRa, you can just talk to us and we'll get you access. Now, there are other ways of collecting data. We have this bicycle here. It's a shared electric bike that we will set up in our Kista offices, or we have 2 of these at the moment. But they will also double work as a distributed sensor network. So it's a kind of a mobile testbed. And if you think about it, there are so many cool things you can do with a bicycle once you start to employ sensors on it. And it could be something individual data, it could be health data, it could be something about how, if you're training, for example, I'm losing concentration now. But it could also be crowdsourced data. So like maybe if the citizens, they want to crowdsource data about air quality and noise, because this bicycle has a sensor package measuring, for example, noise and different kinds of air quality. Maybe if all the citizens, they could add their values, then you would have a complete map of how this air quality and noise levels, how they would be in Stockholm, which is completely different from the way that you're doing today. We will, yep. You can come down afterwards. There's a break afterwards to have a look at this one. Thanks, Elsa. When you get all this data, you need to visualize it in a good way, because we get so much data that already today it's hard to understand what's going on. If you just look at the city of Stockholm, they have so much open data. I don't know how many of you have been to look at this platform. It's on the internet, anyone can access it. But even though there's so much data, it's still hard to get an overview of this. So I think we need visualization services here. And basically anything that can be measured and positioned can even be placed in a map. The map thing is something that's really popular now because it gives a really good overview. And again, with better overview, you can have better decisions. So this can be used for the city or for the suppliers of services to the city and so on. But there's also transparency and democracy aspects here that the citizens can see what's going on. So for example, if we collect all this noise data and air quality data, then you can make heat maps around Stockholm, for example. You can see, okay, so where will there be a lot of noise, which places are very noisy or which will be polluted, and that can change over the day or over the week or over the year, and there are big local variations. The wind can change everything, for example. So if you imagine if you want to buy a house, then maybe you don't want it to be too noisy. Then you look at the heat map, so, oh no, so every time or every day at around noon, it's too noisy here. I can't live here if you have a problem with noise. Or if you have, if you're choosing a school for your children, then you don't want them to be at a school with that's where it's too polluted. And like just things like that. And you can imagine thousands of other services for the citizens here. I will give you an example of a visualization we have done. So we have, not yet, we have cheated a little bit. We can do this in real time, but we weren't sure that it would work now because it requires a lot of capacity from the computer and a good network connection. So it's a video clip. And I will try to guide you through this one. It's based on on photographs from airplanes of Stockholm, and this is Kista that we will show. There will be a lot of points of interest that you will see with different colors. Something is simulated, but the ones that I will point at is something that we are actually measuring. So now I will call it real-time data. It's not real-time data because this has been recorded, right? But we can do it in real time. So you have to trust me on that one. Okay, please. It's based on a game development engine, a professional one. So you will see here, we zoom in over Kista. You can see the time of the day down to the right. This is in the middle of the summer, so we could get more light. And you see the shadows are changing now. Here up to the left, you have Peter's office. And now we're zooming in on Ericsson Studio. You see it there. So this is where we are now in this building. You see the different streams there. The light blue one is energy, how it's moving in Kista. Now the blue one here, this is from the bicycle. This is a trace from the bicycle. And on that one, we are measuring different parameters. Here you see temperature, humidity, and noise, which will change once when you're using your bicycle here in Kista. And we can record that and we can play it up for all the different traces that we have. This is my office. This is the indoor temperature. This goes over the LoRa network that I showed you before. I have the outdoor temperature as well. It's 2 degrees, and it's from the day before yesterday or something. From the Electron building. Here you have these power streams, you could say as well. And basically you can get access to all the power because all the power meters, they're connected to Photon's network. So you have a My Pages for that. So we get into the databases there. This is for the Electron building. We have 5 meters there, and we have a total of, it was around 100 kilowatts of power being used, but you saw it was varying. I don't know if you if you managed to see anything. But this is just an example of how to visualize this enormous amount of data that you will get in a way that you start understanding it. Yeah, next one. So, Rice in Urban ICT Arena. So it's our own backyard testbed. So we are present in more testbeds around the country, but this is the one closest to our heart, of course. And we use it as a demo facility also for what we're doing. And what we like about it is that all types of actors are found here. So big companies, small companies, the municipality, universities, and so on. And we've got so many contacts just this year that we wouldn't have got, I guess, if we hadn't had Urban ICT Arena. So it's really great for us. And as some of the other speakers talked about too, this is a journey that we're on together with the smart cities. No one can do this alone. We have to work together. We have to collaborate. We have to coordinate things between us. So it'll be good. So with that, this was not so elegant. I was trying to make it elegant. Yes, so with that, I want to say happy birthday to Urban ICT Arena. Thanks.
Thank you, Claus. Do you know how much I want to have that thing?
Yeah.
So everyone can access and find their own data in it.
Mm.
So that is something we really should make happen next year.
The photo material is owned by the city of Stockholm, so we have to make some kind of agreement.
Christer, we have to make this happen. Mm. Okay, so Claus, what would you as a citizen ask for in an automagic city?
So I think it's the small things really that will make my life easier. And I'm traveling around a lot with the buses, so I'm kind of frustrated over that I don't get right information. But for example, as a thing that I like some kind of color or something at the bus stop. So I need, now my bus is coming. I need to run, or I can take it easy. These small kinds of things that'll just make life a little bit easier to me. That's what I will. I don't have any big wishes like that.
I think that's a beautiful wish. Thank you, Claus.
Thank you.